men are the one to court women, but in this era, we can see even women going for what they love. Like, if I want that person, I'll go for them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a beautiful thing because there's no limit. Basically, it's just, I feel like love is a beautiful thing. So if you want it, you go for it. You don't have to wait for love to come to you, or you feel like you just want to be chased. Yes, that's a good thing, but at the same time, I feel like sometimes it's nice even when you decide to like go for what you want exactly.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And now that you've mentioned that, let me tell our viewers the question of the day. We are asking, from handwritten love letters to digital romance, let's discuss the fascinating journey of dating through the years. Share your thoughts. How have your dating habits changed? That is from handwritten love letters to digital romance. Let's discuss the fascinating journey of dating through the years. Share your thoughts. How have dating habits basically changed? So Nasieko, you're saying there's it's kind of bold and good and different that women now are, you know, bold to tell men how they feel, right? So is there an extent where you feel that that would be too much, or generally it's okay in the way it is?
I feel like at some point it's not. I don't think it's too much, but it depends with how you are with a person, like with whom you want to be together with in a relationship. So I feel like if the qualities match what you want, then go ahead. Because I feel like Kitambo, like a long time ago, not
Kitambo, how far is far?
like in our parents' era, like I feel like that's different. Because for them they had to be, you feel like they were, I don't know, they were limited to just one thing, and that was marriage. Like, there's no even form of flirting or courtship. So it was just, I don't know.
Really?
I feel like the courtship era wasn't appreciated back then in our parents' time.
Okay, though it's been in different levels. I mean, if you look like from back, let's say 50s, 60s, you know, and also from the aspect of arranged marriages, you know, where you don't even have to meet someone, you know, and know them. You just, you know, get to see them there, and then your parents say, "Oh, Nasieko, this is a guy," or so you're marrying, and then now from the time when our parents, you know, they would know each other, communicate, maybe notes, meet, payphones, you know, and the like. So from all those things, and you're looking at your time, how is it for you? Like, even when, you know, guys were hitting on you, you know, trying to get to know you, how is it in your era?
I don't know. Okay, sometimes I do believe that back then it was a bit even easier. Like, I feel like these days things are so many to an extent you ask yourself, is it really worth it?
In what sense? Elaborate.
Like people are so busy or trying to grow themselves, so not everyone gets a time, like an opportunity, or gets the time to focus on the relationship they want to build. So you will find most people, if at all there's any form of I don't know, disagreement or different in opinions, it's, I don't know, back then it was a bit, I feel like it was a bit easier or to handle that, because you'll be like, this is my husband, so I have to agree with what they say, or this is my wife, I have to agree with what they say. But in this time of age, I feel like that doesn't apply. Like, you won't look at what's important. Instead, you can decide if that's how you've decided to go. Like, the different in opinions, people just switch. Like, I can be like, I can't stay in this relationship if they don't agree with what I want.
Speaking of staying, I mean, we're in an era where there's benching, there's ghosting.
Literally.
there's all these things that are, of course, very, and it's all on the internet. right? And there's a whole lot of relationship experts, especially in your generation, right? So you can find some people not taking seriously the way, let's say, most of you would have in a relationship, because it feels very fickle. But also, some of you would portray it as that. You know, like it's business. It's all this. There's nothing serious here. If you're getting into something, you're giving me something, and I'm giving you something, right? So, like you're mentioning, it feels harder. But why do you feel relationships are, let me say, like I mentioned, fickle in this present day as opposed to before? What is the focus of young people mostly right now?
I feel like I feel like not all, but most that I've seen, or rather from what I've gathered, is I feel like we've tried so much in our era, especially not even the Gen Z, but in our era. Like I feel like people have tried, or rather the young people have tried to not copy or do what used to happen before. So whereby relationships were based off on opinions. Like I feel like this time is easier. You see people being in relationships because they want to, and they form healthy ones. Like you wouldn't want to say that I don't want my kids to have such kind of a parent, like a mother or a father. So like I feel like such things help in relationships, because then it builds you as a person, and also builds like the basis of what you want in a relationship. Yes, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like this, in as much as it's digital, whereby it can be through online dating. I feel like I've seen online dating, and it has, for people, it has worked for some people. Just by basic, I feel like the basis of this is knowing what exactly you want in a relationship.
So whatever it is you're getting into, even if it's an online thing, it has to be super clear to you. Right. You see, like, for example, you're a personality who people adore. You know, you have a great following, and most of what you would do would go viral, right? So even having a partner can have its
literally
like literally ups and downs, and then now you have to maybe navigate that and still be on social, and still try and maybe want to be private, you know? So how do you draw boundaries when people expect so much from you, especially now?
Yeah, okay. So what I do is I decide to, like, there's a line I draw. So when it comes to the digital space and the content space, I will do my content. I will share all my professional side, but I'll try, what I do is I'll draw a line between my influencing side and my personal space, because I feel like these two should not collide, because for me, when these two collide, I'll have to, I wouldn't be comfortable breaching my own personal information to share it to the public. So I'd rather prefer I keep some of my things which are so personal to me and only to me, and not just share it to the public, unless it's of really importance, but I feel like it's not necessarily to do that.
But can you control, you know, some of it, especially with that expectation? You know, social media.
I feel like sometimes you can.
You can?
Yeah, especially with the dating side. Like that I think that has been the most obvious questions when it comes to celebrities. You'd want to know who is dating who. Like, yeah, it's very.
And you have your in-laws online.
Yeah. So you would want to know, that's where it comes in, and you actually see, or balance, or not balance, but just weigh and see, is it worth sharing it? If you're very okay sharing that kind of side or that kind of information, then well and good, but be sure to know how to handle that, because in as much as you can share, it comes with its own peaks or disadvantages or advantages, because I feel like people will really want to intrude in your life and want to know more about you, but not everyone will have good intentions for that. So you have to be very keen on what exactly you're sharing.
So how do you specifically do it? How do you make sure that there's a caveat in your way, in your line, especially a personality like you. Like I know you understand the kind of pull you have. Like it's insane. You know, how do you do that from the assumptions?
I feel like I don't listen to them as much. Like people want to know some things about me, so like people will want to know. Like I feel like things evolve with time, because today someone will want to know who you're dating, tomorrow someone will want to know where do you live. It's just like very intrusive questions, but you will look as like simple as where do you live. I feel like I'll be very comfortable saying I stay here and here and here and here, but if someone wants to exactly know where exactly you live, like who do you stay with, why are you staying there, how long have you been staying there, now I'll be very, very, very questioned. Like I will question them, because I'll be like, why do you want to know where I stay? So I feel like I kind of weigh and see, is it worth really telling them or sharing it or doing it? If it really concerns them, then I will. But I feel like I don't really focus on,
I see.
Yeah, the outside noise as much.
Let me take you back to high school, right? And well, in my time, and I'm seeing some of the responses from our viewers is, you know, guys used to write letters, you know, spray them with perfume, like, you know, and then just send them to, you know, different schools, boys or girls, either or. And that was a big deal. Like if you got a letter, was it also the same for you? How did it feel at that time as compared to right now? Someone can DM you like, oh, I like you, and there's just nothing, like just the DM would just come and you're like, okay, you know, there's no like anticipation per se.
There's some bits of the old, let me say, not to call old age, but back then, there's some bits of it that I feel like I miss them, because it was so sweet, like getting a handwritten letter from someone you like. Oh, please bring that back. Because I feel like some of it was really, it felt special, because someone took their time, just sit down, thought of words, wrote those words, and dedicate them to you.
And lyrics.
And
song lyrics, and dedicated them.
Yeah. I feel like that's, besides, when you compare it to this digital, or rather this era, I feel like this is more than this.
So what's precious now? What makes you feel the butterflies as opposed to the way it was, you know, that time when you said like, you know, this is special? But even if you didn't like that guy, you're like, you know, there was something there, and right now, what's special?
I feel like how the flirting has grown, like over the years. I don't know if you can explain that, because you see the way people used to Katiana back back then, like in high school, in primary, is somehow different. So these days I can see even people getting flowers. I don't know. I just feel like how you do it quite matters a lot.
I see. So I want us to escalate a bit, right? We had a conversation last week, just a day like today on Wednesday, and we had with us the Melanin King, and we had with us Diana Kimani, right? So in these clips, in that particular discussion, we were speaking about side chicks and the way they add quote-unquote spice to marriage. Whether it works for some people, it doesn't, because it's something that happens in society a lot. And we had dissenting views from Melanin King, who was not for it. And Diana, of course, you know, mentioned that there's a need for side chicks. Okay, so I want you to listen in to, you know, the video we're going to play, and then you tell us your thoughts, you know, on the same. So let's take a look at the clip.
I'm a side chick, yeah? The guy had a long day at work. He calls me. He will come to me and I'm going to pamper him. I'm going to make sure first he calms down before he comes to your house. You get? So when he comes to you, he's not going to come with aggression, a bad day. Even if you had a bad day as the wife and you want to give it to him, he's just going to take it in so calmly because he already relieved the stress.
Well, there you go. You know, so basically she's essentially saying that by the time this man gets to his home or to his wife, this side chick could have done what it would have calmed him down.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a role for him. When you hear that, what comes to mind? What's your perspective on all this?
Let me just be frank on that. First of all, I don't think I don't believe in someone accepting to be like a side chick, like to be on the sidelines. Like, why would someone decide to put you on the side and yet they claim? Okay, I don't know. I feel like the whole ideology of you being a side chick because there is a main chick, you actually do what this other person does, just that your title is different from this other person. Like, your time is limited. You can only be seen on specified times. But for this other person, they get to have full access to the man or to the person they're dating. I don't know. That's just my opinion on side chicks. I don't feel like I wouldn't advocate for a woman to decide to be the side chick.
I see.
Yeah.
So when we come back, basically, I think from your perspective, what we can look at is why it is the thing, you know, right now, you know, why it is such a, it's a trend, it's a thing.
I feel like people do it.
Justified for some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just hold on to that thought, Nasieko. We're taking a short break. We'll be back with more of this conversation. Stay with us.
Escotini sogu